Hello, hi everyone. Before we dive
Hi.
into the session, I want you to look at the news headlines in front of you. Well, according to New York Times, even basic AI use is so bad for students. According to Education Week, the rising use of AI comes to a big downside for students. And according to the Japan Times, the hidden AI prompts in academic new paper sparks concern about research integrity. According to The Guardian, thousands of UK university students have been caught using AI. Well, these are the sources we go to for all the updates about all the trends about what's going around our surroundings. If we read all these headlines, you will see something like these headlines are super dramatic, urgent, and very alarming. For a minute, we always feel like that academics is under some kind of AI attack. Well, let's make it super clear that this is not a constitutional debate, that whether AI should stay, whether AI should exist in the academic institutions, because AI is already here. It's in our classrooms, in our research labs, even admission screening has been done by AI. So the question that whether AI should exist or not is like far from question because you are using AI, I am using AI, our teachers are using AI. So why we all always put up the question about the existence, whether we should focus about the governance. While we all were reading these headlines, did you notice something very interesting? All these LinkedIn influencers, YouTube talks, we always see them focusing upon ban, the fear, the cheating, and the control. While very few of them focus on the design, on the policies, or on the institutional leadership. And well, this is because where we bring together this panel to start a conversation about whether students should use AI or not. Well, no, we are not going to talk about it. We are going to explore in next 60 minutes that how institutions can actually lead AI responsibly. How we can move forward from catching AI to cultivating a culture of ethical scholarship rather than focusing on using it or not. We will be focusing on how institutes can design a framework that actually protect the integrity while embracing innovation, because we all know innovation is the key of evolution. And this is why platform like Open Innovator exists. Open Innovator is a global platform that brings the top leaders across academics, technology, innovation to have these conversations that go beyond the surface level commentary. We don't just talk about trends, we actually bring the leaders who are setting these trends, who are actually leading these trends and actually implementing these changes. Like we have our powerhouse of academic leaders today. I welcome everyone, and we are super excited to hear you all. And to guide this important conversation, we are joined by someone who understands this academic leadership, institutional responsibilities very deeply. Dr. Nicolina, it's a pleasure to have you. Dr. Nicolina has been a part of Open Innovators conversation quite often. And trust me when I say this, every time she comes, she brings that clarity, that depth, and that sharp insights into these complex topics. She does not talk about the theory, but she actually tell about the operational reality in the leadership. Dr. Nicolina, it's amazing to have you again with us. And now over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the nice introduction. It's my real pleasure to be here with you today and to have an opportunity to moderate this panel, which is really tackling a very important topic about ethical scholarship and ethics in the era of AI. I'm just going to kind of give a brief overview of what was happening and how everything started. I mean, AI has been here for a really long time, but it has entered the academia and the general population, I'd say, back in 2022 with generative AI. And I can say that AI has changed academia more dramatically than any technology that we have seen before. And the reactions when you remember ChatGPT appeared was reactions across university was immediate, very defensive. AI was banned, policies were rushed. We had all kind of detector software purchase. So that was the time of, I say, a little bit of panic at academia. How do we catch it? How do we control it? Exactly what you mentioned at the beginning. And the fact is that it's not the good approach. It is something that is here to stay. AI is not going to disappear from our lives. Faculty began experimenting with introducing AI in our classes. Researchers began integrating AI. Students, don't even to mention, they're they're already using it whether we approved or not. And institutions realize that we need to move from prohibition to conversation to integration to the policies, and that we should not focus anymore on question how do we detect and prevent use of AI, but how do we cultivate and create ethical scholarship in this new AI-enabled world. And I believe this conversation is what it is about today. So it is my real pleasure to welcome these panel participants. Professor Ala Garat, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Professor of Strategic Learning and Business Excellence, ALM College. He's joining us from Scotland. Dr. Shelley Verma, Parvar Academic Program Director and Dean and CUQ Ulster University from Doha, and Dr. Mayar Al-Sabah, Lecturer at Higher College of Technology from Dubai. So welcome all, and it's really my pleasure to have an opportunity to lead this discussion. And to start with one general question, and any of you can respond. We have a situation now that AI is slowly becoming a research co-author, co-pilot in learning, co-evaluator in assessments. And what are the ethical foundations that universities and academic institutions must establish today to ensure integrity, to ensure trust, and human accountability remain central? So, Dr.
Yeah,
Ala, we want to start?
sure. I'm happy to give it a go. And thank you, Dr. Klina, and thanks to Agrima and my colleagues, the other speakers, Mayar and Shaili. And thanks to all the audience that making it today, especially those who are observing month of Ramadan without the coffee. And I think, Dr. Nicolina, you hit the nail, as they say, because you really spotted it. The most important thing that there is no U-turn now. We cannot not use AI. We cannot go back. And I personally, as a lecturer and as a senior executive, as a consultant as well, I can't work anymore without AI. I can't. It won't happen. And my productivity will be much less. However, the challenge is obvious. We know where is the challenge. The idea is how to handle it. And yes, students, they use AI. However, we need to be, as academic institutions and in higher education, to be more proactive and adopt AI, embrace it in a very transparent way. Instead of focusing on detection and catching the student. I have a university next door, and I don't feel bad saying the name because this is the published policy. Abertay University here in Dundee, when students detected using AI, they got them for an investigation, and they find a result at the end of the day, guilty or not guilty. I mean, the word even guilty, using this word in academia is very shameful. And there are examples like this. Some universities, they either ban it totally. Some universities, they don't have a clear policy about it. Some, they are in between. So to summarize here, I think there should be a very clear policies and learning framework about use of AI in academia. We need to cultivate, as I used your words here, to cultivate the culture, to cultivate the awareness. And there are very good examples here, especially from Stanford University, where they publish a regular report about the use of AI. They encourage the students to use specific tools. So they established approved tools to be used. So transparent use of AI, human oversight also, and accountability. We still need to oversight what our students do and what faculty members, not only students, it's faculty members as well. So I think this transparency and awareness, the two keywords, awareness and transparency.
Dr. Shelley, what do you say? What are the main ethical foundations that we should adopt to ensure that we have integrity and trust and accountability? What do you think?
First of all, thank you for giving this opportunity to the Open Innovators. I'm all delighted to be here for this panel discussion. Indeed, it's a very, powerful question, I must say, when we talk about the ethical and integrity, when we're talking about ethical and integrity in the academia approach. And as Professor Ala said, that definitely I believe that human accountability must remain, non-transferable. So in my opinion, academic institution must, proactively establish ethical foundations that safeguards, the integrity. They should preserve the trust and reinforce, human accountability. We should always remember that AI it can assist, but it cannot bear the, responsibility. So institution must formally, establish AI output. They are the tools, but they are not the authorities. Like final academic research and assessment decision, they must always rest with the human academics, all right? So policy should require, the explicit declaration of AI assistance in research and assignments. There should be a clear differentiation between human generated and any of the AI supported content. There should be a transparent documentation of AI tools which are used, in grading or giving any of the feedback. And being somebody coming, who is also teaching masters at master's level, artificial intelligence. So we cannot teach AI without teaching AI ethics. So ethics should not be kind of, a single module, a separate module. It must be embedded, in core AI AI modules, being it when you are talking about machine learning, about data engineering, about engineering infrastructure. So it should be, critically, you can say you should always talk about that biasness. You should hallucination, those fairness, explainability, and
Definitely.
responsible AI. You
Yes,
should
yes.
always talk about, when you are taking up those core technical modules.
So basically, it should be integrated all over the curriculum, not only focused on one thing. Thank you so much. And Dr. Mayar, what do you have to say about the ethical approach and ethics in this context when we are looking at AI?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Dr. Nicolina, and thank you everyone for allowing me to be part of this great panel discussion. So from my point of view, I think that the real shift we're seeing today is that AI has moved from just being a tool on the side to become an active participant in our intellectual processes. And because of that, we cannot just rely on old rules that we used to have. We need to move forward for a foundation of responsibility management. And the first thing I would emphasize is actually human accountability. So no matter how sophisticated a co-pilot or co-evaluator becomes, we need to ask that ultimate why behind any research assessment. It needs to be traceable back to a person. So if we start delegating our actual judgment to this system, we're not going just to save time, we're actually risking a kind of professional delusion where no one is actually responsible for the knowledge being produced. So this will lead us to an issue, I think, of transparency. And since we all belong to academia, we all know that trust in academia is built on knowing exactly how an outcome was actually reached. And if AI is co-authoring, we need to open that, I call it black box, without knowing an output or who was the responsible party of generating it, we lose both credibility and the ability to produce results. So, yeah.
Please.
Should I
So
continue?
accountability and transparency, these are the things that you would basically emphasize when we are looking at the ethical.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you so much. And going back to Professor Allah, you are the creator of the learning-driven organization model, right? And a leader in strategic quality management. So how would you say that ethical AI can be embedded into the architecture of institutional excellence? Should this ethical AI become a dimension of quality that we are going to measure as a quality standards and organizational performance? What would be your insights on that?
Thank you for the question. And again, I will build on what you've said and what my colleague Shiley said. There are several tiers or levels of embedding AI ethical aspects into the curriculum. So on a high level, it should be embedded into the quality review framework. So if here in the UK, the Quality Assurance Agency, QAA, is the regulatory body of this. So far, it is not directly embedded in the criteria in the governance system. So this should be a core element in all the indicators of quality criteria on an institutional level. So to which extent do we have a policy and how we mandate this policy and how we raise awareness? So it shouldn't be just a document or something done to tick the boxes and say, now we are compliant. So this is here, we have a policy. I've seen universities, I'm external examiner in 4 universities here in the UK. I've seen policies that much needed by the students, and it would take you at least 10-15 minutes to find it on the website. Where is it? So it's not accessible. And when you read it, some policies are more than 20 pages, and you really don't understand anything out of it. You need some really solicitor to interpret it to you. So we have to do friendly, user-friendly, reader-friendly policies that are actionable, that can be understood. And every policy has to be supported by a clear procedure, how to apply this policy. So it's not just theoretical framework and ticking the box. If we go a little bit below this level of the institutional, talking about the curriculum, so how to do it in the curriculum, I would say, and I echo my colleague Shiley, it has to be a learning objective. You know, every program has a program learning outcomes, and every course has learning objectives. One of the LOs should be the ethical adoption of AI. And students should be asked clearly, explicitly in every assignment or coursework, how did you use AI? It's not did you use AI or no. It is how did you use it, okay? And if we have students here, I would really give a piece of advice. Don't try it directly in the AI tool. Have your own version of the document first, and you can use it for proofreading. You can use it for improvement, but you should have your own human copy first. And this could be a mechanism for assessment and looking into compliance, if we look into compliance, that the version before AI and after AI, because we want to understand that this is a genuine work initiated and developed by the student, but then enhanced by AI. And there should be a tier policy on areas where you cannot use AI. So you can't use it for this part of the work. For this part, it is restricted. For this part, it is permitted. So we should have a tier-based policy on this. Also, we need to look into the leadership metrics, accountability of the senior management. It shouldn't be left to IT department. AI is not a technology, it's not IT department. AI is much more than this. It's a leadership, it is an organization-wide issue that we need to look after it carefully. Otherwise, in less than 10 years, universities will disappear, will totally disappear. It will not be there anymore, because last week, China, for example, they had the first PhD without a single page, no thesis, nothing. A whole PhD without a thesis. So the traditional form of universities is being changed. This is a transformational. It is not an action or something to be done cosmetic thing. It is much more than this. And this is the responsibility of the executive management, of vice chancellor, of provosts, of presidents, of deans. It's not only the faculty and the students.
Thank you so much, Professor Allah, for outlining all of this. And I completely agree with you. Many times we are doing things that are more of a compliance, checking the box, and skipping the core of it, how it impacts university at all levels and how it needs to be integrated into governance throughout the processes, from the curriculum development, but yes, throughout the university processes, and coming also from the management and from the university leadership. That basically everyone needed guidelines right now, what to do and how to do, not only some new policy, as you said, 20 pages that we talk about AI, but will not be applied. Dr. Shelley, as someone who's teaching and you're teaching and designing advanced AI programs, right? How we can ensure, as you were mentioning even before, that ethical responsibility is embedded in AI development and not treated as an external add-on. So should ethics be integrated into some of the core AI modules like machine learning or system design? How we should approach this?
Yes, definitely. Like ethics of AI should be taken up in the core technical modules. It should not be kind of a separate module which need to be taken up. As someone designing and teaching all these advanced AI program, I really strongly believe that ethics must be embedded within AI development, and it should not be positioned as just a separate a compliance model. It should be integrated into all the core modules, and we should simultaneously discuss the issue like biasness, about data set, about representativeness and fair matrices. All these should be discussed, when you are taking up all the core modules in artificial intelligence. If ethics is only being taught as a standalone subject, then student may perceive it more theoretical, right, and kind of a secondary subject. But when ethical questioning, that become a part of just writing a code, selecting the model, selecting data set, right, tuning those parameters and deploying those systems, it become then a professional instinct. So in my view, the goal is to graduate AI engineers, right, who do not ask kind of like, is your model accurate? But also, is this model safe? And is it societable responsible or not? So it is something like we should always focus on AI for human-centric innovation. This is what every time I quote with my students whenever I start my class. So AI, we are learning AI for the human-centric innovation.
I really like the concept of AI for human-centric innovation, because I think this is the core now. We have to learn how to do this collaboration, co-development, coexistence at the end. But correctly, ethics, and you notice something that is very visible actually when we look at the curricula at the universities. Ethics is taught as a standalone subject. We integrate it here and there, but unless it's really integrated into all those technical and practical subjects, as you said, they will always perceive it as something that's a side, something, another box to check to get the degree. And not something that should be now at the core, especially for programmer developers, for AI practitioners that will be working with it. Dr. Mayar, I'd like to ask your perspective. You have been working a lot in digital economy, you have a lot of experience with mentoring student startups and student entrepreneurship. So how do you see, and do you see if AI, I'm sure that they're using AI now, how AI is influencing their decision-making, entrepreneurial decision-making? And do you think there might be some ethical blind spots that are emerging when students use AI to discuss their idea, maybe conduct the market research or build some proposals? So what's your perspective and experience on that, working with students?
Okay, so I would like to start with I'm really fascinated to watch and how AI is reshaping the uncertainty of our young founders. If we go back and look at the traditional way of entrepreneurial judgment, it was something that used to be built slowly through observation, grit, and a lot of trials and errors. But now AI is basically compresses that entire life cycle, and it can scan the market and build prototype in seconds, which is massive and considered to be as an advantage for students with zero budget. So, but that also speed come with some very real ethical and cognitive blind spot. And the biggest one, in my point of view, is epistemic overconfidence. And because these models are so incredibly fluent and persuasive for students, students tend to mistake AI synthesis for and consider it as a market truth. They actually start treating a predictive output as objective evidence. And the danger here is that the AI is wrong, but it is actually persuasively wrong, especially in underserved or emerging markets, that the training data might have been ignored during that period of preparation of that AI tool. So then there is also a risk of strategic convergence. If every young founder is using the same model, we can say, or the same prompt to validate their ideas, here we're going to see massive drop on their original thinking. And we're going to risk, of course, creating an ecosystem where everyone is chasing the same average conclusion. And the challenge here is for us is not to restrict the technology, but tech or we need to teach digital skepticism. We have to ensure that prompting does not replace their thinking, and that the human founder remain the one steering the ethical rudder of the business.
Thank you so much, and thank you for those observations, because from working directly with students before and after, actually you can compare and you can see and identify those shifts. And I think we should all be a little bit worried with, as you mentioned, decrease in original thinking that might happen, and some average outputs that will be happening across. But I think that prompting skills are also going to be very important, aside from the whole section of development,
Definitely.
the critical analytical skills and human skills at the end of the day. Going back to Dr. Ala, you spent decades advancing organizational learning in the context of AI and academia. So, what do you say? How institutions avoid reducing ethics to static guidelines? I think that's the problem everywhere. Even you mentioned, like, we have compliance, we need to check the boxes. And how to cultivate a real culture of ethics, how to cultivate it, to evolve this ethical culture, both among the students. We are very often focusing only on students, but
Right.
also faculty and staff. So how to do and develop this ethical culture across the organization?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question, very political one as well, because I see some faculty members, they behave like students, even worse. And you can see, not my opinion, you can see the number of research papers that was drawn or retracted from journals. Even so many journals from Wiley and from all the big publishers are closing because faculty members, they make up the papers and they put it without disclosure about AI. Anyway, I think I would love to cite Dr. Edward Deming. Deming is the godfather of quality management, and he said something very simple. He said people do not mind to do their best, but they need to know what to do. Okay, so people need to know what to do. And if I ask any vice chancellor or president of the university, now we have AI actively for the last 3 years. How many of your staff have been sent for training on AI? How many training courses have been conducted at the university about AI? How many awareness sessions for students? Real sessions, not taking the boxes, about AI. So let's do simple things, and simple things can lead to big results. As far as we start from the top, we start from a very clear policy, from buying in from the senior management, okay, and not lip service, a serious buying in from senior management, and then the rest will be a matter of details. I'll give you one example. I am an action-oriented person. When COVID came, I was working for a university called Portsmouth University in south of England. And what we did simply, we got on and said there is something happening here and we will start teaching online. And we realized that only 10 to 15% of our colleagues are very savvy and they know how to use Zoom and Teams and WebEx and all of that. And many other colleagues, really, it took them hard time to share a screen, just to know where is the button of sharing screen. And they were not expected because they were not asked to teach online before. So we did something simple practice called digital champion. Not every faculty or every department, every small department, every section in every college at the university had 1 or 2 digital champions. And the role of digital champions is peer learning, peer teaching, to help their colleagues to learn how to use Zoom, how to share screen, how to upload things, and so on. Why don't we have an AI champion in every department, in every school or university that can help spreading the knowledge? So I would say one of the practices having this synergy between departments, between labs, between those who are more advanced in using AI and know about the ethics of AI, and then those who need this knowledge, and do a mentor-mentee kind of thing. Okay, we should be remunerated also either in cash or in kind, because people should be recognized for their extra steps, extra effort. We also should include the students in the governance. We should listen to the students, what they think about a proper governance. And I'm sure we will get the best answers from the students, because why we assume that we know everything and we leave our internal customer or our customers. I know some do not like to use the word customer for students, but I use it shamelessly. I see students are my customers. So why don't we listen to them and see from their point of view what are the practices and policies that should be in place about AI ethics? And for practicality, in the chat box here, I popped a course, a ready course. I think it's accessible. It's called CS 281. Ethics of Artificial Intelligence by Stanford University. The course is there, and this is what Stanford did. They had a course for the students, for faculty members. They can go, they can study. They have 3 faculty members, office hours. They can go to them and ask questions, and it is embedded. It is not just talking about it. The problem is not that complicated if we start to take action, if we start to embrace it. But to talk about it, as I used the term from my colleague Mayaz, the black box, if you look into only just a black box and we are afraid, that's the nature of human beings. We are afraid of things that we don't know. Man is enemy of the unknown. Yeah. So we have to make the unknown known. We have to go there and try to learn it and try to use different techniques. And one of the practices of organizational learning, how organizations learn, is called benchmarking. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are leaders in this now, Cambridge University, Oxford University, and Stanford. These 3 specific universities, they reached a very high maturity level in no time about the ethics of using AI. And in fact, it's bigger than AI ethics. It's about ethics. I used Peter Drucker. He said there is nothing called business ethics. There is only ethics. So maybe we use this opportunity to remind our students and our faculty members about integrity and about ethics. It's not only AI. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the very detailed and comprehensive explanation. And I really like the suggestion of digital champions. I think someone in the chat also wrote like AI champions, that now we need an AI champion
Why not?
at department.
I'll tell you, and allow me just 2 seconds. I was one of these digital champions, and I was so happy. I printed screenshots of Zoom and all of that. And because in my previous life, I was teaching IT. So I know something. And I did it. And I was surprised after COVID to receive a letter from the vice chancellor of the university saying, thank you, Alagarad, you did this. Thank you. That was a great job. And as a token of appreciation, we transferred you £500. Not a big amount, but the vice chancellor knows something, one of the staff, and all the staff members received those digital champions. We did it just for the sake of helping our colleagues, but we were recognized. The letter was a big deal for me to receive such a letter.
Of course, and it's important to also to acknowledge from the organizational part,
exactly.
Actually from organizational
and that's
side,
the commitment, that's the serious commitment.
And yes, to show the commitment, again, organizational commitment, and as you said, organizational learning. And we all know that organization can sometimes learn slowly, but we are there to support. Dr. Shelley, you have been supervising both postgraduate and undergraduate and postgraduate AI research. So how would you say are all those emerging tools, including generative AI, changing research design, originality, and authorship? And what would you say are the new ethical guidelines that would be urgently needed in computing disciplines in that purpose?
Okay, that's really a good question, and thank you for asking me this one. So we'll move on to the first question first, that is talking about the generative AI tools. So first, In research design, like, okay, I'll start with the ChatGPT, tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. They are accelerating that literature review, prototyping, and even, that experimental setup. So student can explore the ideas, right, faster than ever. But the risk is that it has shallow conceptual engagement if AI substitute the critical thinking rather than supporting it. A second is that originality is now being redefined. So we must now distinguish between the idea generation and idea ownership. If AI suggests model architecture or rewrite the sections of text, the intellectual contribution must be clear, human-led. The danger is not assistance, but it is uncritical dependence. And thirdly, I can say that authorship is becoming ethically complex. AI cannot be an author because it cannot take the responsibility, right? Therefore, human researchers must remain fully accountable for their accuracy, for their validity, biasness, and integrity of all the outputs. Even if AI assistance is just producing them. Now, moving forward to the second question, that is, I think, answering the ethical guidelines, which is a necessity now. So which is urgently being needed. So the ethical guidelines are: first, mandatory disclosure policies; second, can be clear authorship standards; third, can be process-based assessment in student research; fourth is like verification responsibility framework. So right now, the priority now should not be restriction, but it should be a responsible integration, in my opinion. Yeah.
So I think that more or less we all agree that with restriction, we are not getting anywhere. And restriction will not work, did not work and will not work. So we need to go into responsibility. But if I may, you mentioned at the beginning, we all know there are many tools now that students can use, let's say, for example, for literature review, for doing like even full papers. If your experience was, I guess you had some experience with those tools. So what would you advise students how to, I mean, should they use them or not, or how would you advise them? Because they're using them at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. They are using them. So my advice is not like, as I mentioned this quote, that the priority should not be kind of, I will not restrict them, but yes, they should have their, they should take up that responsibility that, okay, how, ethically they are using it. Yes, they are using it to broaden their knowledge horizon. So that is acceptable, but ultimately the responsibility should be human driven. It should not be that just copy paste and here is the output.
Yes, exactly. Because even formatting and everything can look completely perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Mayar. If, for example, you had to introduce one mandatory ethical checkpoint for every students who led AI-enabled startup within the next year, what would it be, and who should be accountable for enforcing this?
Okay, also this is a good question. So if I had to narrow it down to just one mandatory move, it would be an ethical impact and provenance review. And it has to happen before the startup touches a single user or investor. So essentially, we need to move past compliance theater. This checkpoint would require founders to pause and physically demonstrate three main things. They need to show where did their data come from, how does the model handle bias in their specific market? And who is the human anchor responsible when the system hallucinates? So it is about actually building ethical reflexivity, we can say. Early on, we want these founders to realize that a transparent startup is actually a more investable startup in 2026 market. And as of accountability, I don't believe in a single AI police officer. It has to be a distributed model. The founder must own the design decision. They are the ones at the steering wheel. But the mentors and advisors have to be the ones providing critical friction. They need to be the ones seeking or asking the uncomfortable questions. Because eventually, if we don't share the responsibility across the whole innovation life cycle, then ethics just become a checkpoint on a form. And we want actually to be a core design principle.
Thank you, and you outlined I think I would agree with you that those definitely should be the things to look at, especially looking at, as you said, where data come from and who's accountable for when AI hallucinates. Because these are the things that we can still not with 100%, especially if we're dealing with AI-related startups. There are many things there that might not be regulated. So I believe these are the things. But I think that over time, as what do you think over time as AI improves and becomes better and better, would we need to adjust maybe some of those things, or would those principles stay the same as the AI and the capacity and everything improves?
I think eventually it depends also on how and where we're going to use it. We need to be very mindful, and even if AI improved, I think also the expectation are going to be higher. So still we need to be extra mindful in that.
Correct. As we are raising the bar, and then AI is becoming better, and then our expectations are higher, and this is kind of a continuous
Whenever
chase.
we think that we're reaching to the point, there is something that raises the bar.
There is something that raises the bar. Thank you so much. And as we have 10 minutes left for for this discussion, I would like to ask all of you one question, like closing question. We have covered so many things and so many points related to the challenges that we all as academic and the whole system, like the whole higher education system is facing nowadays. We're all aware of that. So if you had to identify one concrete action, one concrete thing that academic institution must do in the next 12 months to embed the ethical AI at a ground level, what would it be, and who should take the ownership of it? So, Dr. Ala, you want to start? Please unmute yourself.
Sorry for that. Let me reiterate that everything, every initiative, every improvement, every strategic change has to start from the top management. Again, I cite Deming. He said top management or senior management is responsible for 95% of success or failure of any organization. So everything has to start from the top. And then there is a responsibility for everyone. So the responsibility of the senior management would be setting the scene, setting the policies, allocating the budget. And the responsibility of faculty members is to embrace this and take action on it and embed AI ethics in the curriculum and the learning objectives in every course. Students, the responsibility is to absorb this and to be open and to learn, to be open for learning, and to abide by the guidelines and to ask when they are in doubt. If I suggest one thing that immediately should be implemented within the next 12 months is to really sit together with all the stakeholders within the academic institution and put together a organization-wide or institutional wide ethical AI learning framework. There should be a framework, even if it is a one page, even if it's a very basic thing, but there should be a clear framework that have identify the responsibilities, the policies about the disclosure. How do we use AI? It's not only about plagiarism. AI has huge usages and benefits. So how we use it as faculty members and as students, what is the standard of disclosure? And then number two, the mandatory capabilities building program. We should stop lip service. There should be a budget. There should be a proper training to every faculty member, and it should be mandated. And it should go to their performance appraisal when they get evaluated at the end of the year. Did they attend and pass this module or no? This should be embedded for everyone and for the students as well. And then should be governance and review mechanism to come after every semester and check the effectiveness of this learning framework. And we don't know, really, I keep saying we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just look around and learning from others' experience, positive or negative, because we learn from failure more than we learn from success. So we should look around, and this information is available for free. I put these 3 links here in the chat. It's all for free. It's open. We can get access to any practice we want. So these are the things I would like to say. And I like the word hallucination about AI because someone asked AI, ChatGPT, if I am doing Hajj, and Muslims will know what does mean. If I'm doing Hajj and Ramadan is happening during Hajj, and can I break my fast? Can I have a license not to fast Ramadan? And ChatGPT said yes, of course, because of the difficulty of Hajj, etc. You can not observe Ramadan. And for anyone knows, Hajj comes after the end of Ramadan, at least 70 days. But ChatGPT said, yeah, you can break your fast during Hajj. So we need the human oversight. We will need human oversight. So AI is not good or bad. It is good or bad to the extent how we use it effectively.
Thank you so much, Dr. Allah. And Dr. Shari, what do you have to say? What would be this one thing that you would recommend to be introduced?
So that that one concrete action that need to be taken is that is, yes, mandate the integration of AI ethics learning into every AI related module. It should not be an optional topic, but it should be an assisted component. It should not be a standalone, ethical course. It should not be, as Professor Allah said, not a policy document just sitting on a website, right? It should be embedded, measurable, and examinable within machine learning, within intelligence engineering infrastructure, within data science. If ethics is assessed, it becomes then valued. If it become valued, then it become practiced. So in my sense, that one concrete action, yeah, definitely that the mandatory action is to introduce the AI ethics in all the AI modules. And who must take the ownership? That is, yes, the primary responsibility lies within the academic leadership. That is your dean, program directors, curriculum committees. The governance cannot be, delegated entirely to the individual lecturers, right? Or your institutional direction. That is very essential. At the same time, faculty members, they must operationalize it within their modules, and quality assurance bodies must ensure that alignment. And then embedding this ethical AI at this ground level it's not a technological challenge also, it is just a curriculum design and leadership decision. So this is one that concrete action that can be doable, and we must, I feel like that we must do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Dr. Mayar, what's your one thing that you would recommend that academic institutions should do?
Yeah, we have to stop treating AI ethic as specialized or tech elective and start treating it as a core literacy. The one concrete action I would push is the mandatory integration of AI critical literacy across every single discipline, from art to science, because the logic here is very simple. A policy alone only creates a culture of superficial compliance. People will always find a way to bypass a ban, but literacy creates systematic resilience. It gives individual the intellectual immune system to recognize hallucination, spot a bias, and also, most importantly, know when to apply their own judgment over a machine output.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for the very, very insightful feedback. And if I were to summarize, especially the last point where we wanted to emphasize what would be the one thing, if you put everything together, then we see some sort of comprehensive picture that. As Dr. Allah said, we need to start from top. We need to have a leadership that is aware what needs to be done. Then we need to have, as Dr. Mayar said, we need to have also policies, but the policies that are not only oriented toward compliance. And those policies have to live in our curriculum, in what we do and what we do on an everyday basis. Also, as Dr. Shelley said, integration of AI ethics should be there in every AI learning module, but even on the top of that, ethics should be treated, ethics of AI should be treated as a core literacy, not maybe only in AI related courses and modules, because it's spanning across all disciplines, it's spanning across all areas. Students are using it everywhere, and then institutions need to find, I'd say, the meaningful and efficient way to integrate all of this, not to run from it, not to go into prohibition, policing, but to find for all of us, I think our new mission will be to find a way how to integrate all of this in a way that would be at one point useful and efficient, but at the other point, not to lose this human touch, not to lose this part of what human creativity, what human analytical, critical thinking is, because in this case, as I think Dr. Mayar said, we will have like a lot of average outputs and a lot of average things to deal with. So I want to thank you all once again for an amazing discussion. It was really, really my pleasure to moderate it. And thank you for the Open Innovator. Thank you, Agrima, for inviting me and for opening this discussion, which I think we, in this hour, just kind of scratched a little bit of the topic. I think there is a lot of other things that that can be said about this, and it will be developing over time as the technology advances and as AI develops. So thank you so much. Also want to say Ramadan Kareem to everyone observing the holy months. It started today. So thank you all once again, and thank you, Agrima, especially.